I don't want to lose my baby. Lord, what can I do? I quietly asked myself as I watched a woman in tears leave the doctor's office. She sat dejectedly on a chair in the reception area, sobbing uncontrollably. I sat there motionless, not sure what to do. After a few minutes, seeing the pain and despair on her face, I gathered my courage and walked towards her. Finally, I inquired about the cause of her tears. She looked at me as if she had just noticed my presence and said, "I want to keep my baby. I want my baby." I held her as she explained her dilemma. She was 5 months pregnant, but the prenatal ultrasound scan had shown that her unborn baby had a severe medical condition. Her gynecologist had carefully explained to her that the brain defect might cause delays in the child's development of motor skills, such as sitting and walking. Given the severity of the abnormality, the gynecologist advised her to terminate the pregnancy. The thought of losing her child was understandably unbearable. As I sat beside her, unsure of what to say, suddenly, as a lightning bolt, the verse came to me. "I say to you, if you have faith as a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you." Matthew 17:20 NKJV. At that moment, I took a deep breath and asked if I could pray for her. She nodded, and I knelt beside her. I poured out my heart to God, asking God to give us faith as little as a mustard seed, as I pleaded for a miracle for this desperate woman. I tearfully claimed Proverbs 10:22, which states that the blessing of the Lord makes one rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. Please, Lord, I prayed, do not allow sorrow to steal your child's blessing. I finally surrendered the pregnancy to God, asking him to do what would bring him the most glory. After the prayer, this beautiful mother looked peaceful. She smiled, hugged me, stood up, and headed for her car. 3 years later, I sat at the same place, admiring a beautiful girl with a pleasant smile. I smiled back at her, took her hand, and asked, "What is your name, young lady?" Before she could answer, I heard a voice behind me saying, "She is the miracle you prayed for 3 years ago. Don't you remember me? I am the woman who sat here sobbing, and you reached out to me. You prayed for a miracle, and God heard your prayers." The woman went on to remind me of that fateful day when she had been told to terminate her pregnancy. She explained that after the prayer, she felt at peace, and instead of going to the hospital, she drove home with a strong resolve to keep her baby. Sure enough, 4 months later, she gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, now running around and laughing merrily. She told me that to this day, her gynecologist still marvels at this miracle, saying that out of all the babies born in Canada and still living with that condition, this little girl is the only one who is functioning normally. While a critical part of her brain is still missing, the little girl can function like any healthy 3-year-old. Kneeling, I held the little girl in my arms and thanked God my Father for his miraculous intervention. Even though the doctors had reached their conclusions, God came through in a mighty way, showing himself faithful. In Jeremiah 33:3, God invites us to call to him in our desperate situations. He promises to answer us and show us great and mighty things which we do not know. God is giving us opportunities to exercise our mustard-sized faith in him. Opportunities that will bring about great blessings and bring honor to his name. Would you call on him today? Subscribe for a new miracle story each week, and also visit the link in the description below for more true miracle stories from our website. Be enlightened, be encouraged, be empowered.